Hello and welcome to the Football Experience podcast for episode 11. Today, we've got Jed and Javen with us this evening. And what we're going
Oh,
to be doing is we're going to be talking a little bit about the season so far. We're going to be doing, some potential talks about Manchester City's upcoming 100 and what is it now, 15 charges that they've got, and just sort of general roundup, general catch up of the season and sort of how predictions are going so far. So we'll get straight into it, and then Javen will give us a little bit of a blind ranking in a little while's time. So, what do you think about the season so far, then, guys? We'll start with Jed.
it's a big question. Halfway through the season, well, not quite yet, but it's been a few shocks. Um, Sunderland, for one, being a brilliant promoted team that not many people would thought would do well. Um, whereas Arsenal are looking on track to perhaps finally win one, but based on their track record, they might bottle it. Uh, who have I really liked this season? A lot of new signings have done well, like Estevao and João Pedro for Chelsea, and yeah, I think it's going well. Man United doing better as well. Of course, Jay will elaborate more on that, I'm sure, when he gets to him. And Villa are doing all right after a shaky start to the season, of course. Um, and yeah, and so halfway through the season, we'll do. I think next time we'll do our mid-season review of our predictions, but we don't have time for that today. But it's standard season pretty much. Been a few goods, not too many wild things that I can think of. But
There's been
yeah, that's my quick summary of what's happened so far.
Yeah, there has been quite a few sort of surprises, haven't there? Especially with like Sunderland and stuff. Javen, what do you think about this season so far?
Well, Arsenal look like they're the real deal. They just do, whether it be the Premier League or the Champions League. I mean, they've kind of carried on as they were, but they seem to have really. It's not like they've done anything radical, but they've just fine tuned it a bit. Like their machine that they had going the last few seasons, they've just made it that slight bit better, and that might be enough to push them all the way. With Liverpool's shock of the season, of the way that they've tanked down the table after a promising start, but then just losing games that they should have comfortably won or got at least some points out of. For them to be where they are, I mean, that's an absolute dream for Arsenal to not have to worry about them. Arsenal's two biggest threats, from what I can tell, are Man City and Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, I did think would be strong title contenders. I actually predicted them to win, more out of hope that Liverpool wouldn't than anything. But now it actually does look more likely that Chelsea could win it than Liverpool, after all. But they've got, Man City and Arsenal to think about. You can't write off Man City, can you? Even if they seem to be going through a lull, you just know a Pep Guardiola side's going to come straight back. So yeah, there's not many points between the rest of the teams following them, so anything could happen. Even between now and the end of the year, end of this month, a lot could change around that section of the table. As Jed touched on, Man United have been doing okay. I think that's all I can say. Really, they've been doing okay.
Mm,
Um, it's hard to judge them too much because sometimes it seems to be going well, sometimes yeah, what's the point of winning big games if you're going to drop points against the smaller sides? That's always my gripe with Man United. It's just frustrating. Sunderland punching above their weight, moving further down the table. Not a lot of surprises as to who's in the relegation zone. Leeds, Burnley, Wolves. Unfortunately, I think a lot of us thought they might struggle.
yeah.
West Ham just hovering above. Now, I did predict West Ham would struggle this season. I actually put them in the relegation zone. That could still happen, but time will tell.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, some of my predictions were I think I predicted that all um recently promoted teams would get go straight back down again, which I think Sunderland, well, I know Sunderland was amongst that prediction. And
Yeah.
that was, as it stands, a terrible prediction because they are sick for the Premier League. So yeah, that's not. I mean, to be honest, though, it's nice to see a team recently promoted actually do well. Because usually you think of like the traditional top six and stuff like that, but Liverpool have had an absolute stinker of a start of a season, as you guys have mentioned. They've pulled in a lot of, I feel like, unnecessary signings, or not just necessarily just that. I feel like they're just not the right players. I feel like if they were going to buy, if they knew they were going to buy Isaac, then don't buy Ekatike because they did kind of okay without, when Nunes left. They've still been doing all right without him. So it wasn't, I don't, in my opinion, a striker they necessarily needed. But yeah, they've just not gelled together whatsoever. And Frimpong's barely started. I think he's played like one full game for them this season so far in the Premier League. And then the rest is like been injured or he plays 20 minutes. But yeah, they've been absolutely terrible. United, as you said, Javen, yeah, they've been doing a lot better than last season anyway. But still have, a bit of room to improve. But I mean, Jed touched on it a little bit earlier. I mean, Villa, we were pretty much in the relegation zone. I don't think we won a game for, was it, Jed? I think it was like what, the first 4, 5 games of the season we hadn't won a game, or first six. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, yeah, we drew a few but we didn't win for like back to back games,
Yeah.
which was worrying at first, wasn't it? But they pulled it together after their first European game, I think, this season,
Mm.
and gain confidence back.
And
Yeah.
Watkins has been a disappointment, I think, this season. I think even for a lot of fantasy Premier League players. I mean, last season he was doing all right, and the season before that as well. It was one of those players you kind of you'd speak about having him in your team, and you'd sort of dabble having him in and taking him out sometimes. But I don't actually think he's scored this season in the Premier League. I know he scored. I don't even know if he scored in Europe. I can't even remember. But he has had an absolute stinker, and I've been saying this for a little while about Watkins. I've said like there's just something missing from his play style. I don't know what it is. But
Power shot.
yeah, but he's he just, I don't know what it is. I think at times he lacks, not all the time, but I think he lacks a bit of creativity. I know we saw some of that obviously in the was it the Euros last year when he put us through against the Netherlands. Whereas it's one of the only times really I've actually seen him go through on goal and actually sort of create something himself. A lot of the time, he will just kind of sit back and kind of be that hold up striker.
Do you not think he deserves some credit though for Villa's resurgence mid-season though? Like the fact that they've climbed up to the top four after starting the season badly.
He hasn't really been a much of a part of that though. I'd say it's been mainly sort of McGinn, Morgan Rogers, um, Matty Cash has stepped up this season as well for Villa. He wasn't. He was. I kind of wanted him out last season, to be honest with you. I can't lie. Now we've just extended his contract. So, but he's been doing quite well. But yeah, for Watkins, he hasn't really lived up to anything as such this season. He's obviously been a vital player for Villa, but if we're going to be, pushing for a Champions League spot this season, then I feel like a new striker is needed in
Well,
the transfer upcoming.
Rodgers is doing well, and the players around him are performing very well. My concern is uh, actually a new striker would be good, but the fact we signed Harvey Elliott and he hasn't really featured at all. I don't know why he's not playing him, but
Mm,
he might just be. He did play Lindelof in the last European game, so he's looking for
yeah.
depth in the squad, isn't he? But it looks like in January Watkins might be. They might get a striker in to give Watkins a bit more competition.
Yeah, I mean, he's just lacking. He's lacking a bit of confidence for sure. I think as soon as he gets maybe like, one or two goals this season and will being well, I think that will sort of put him in good stead of, perhaps hopefully maintaining a bit of good form and carry it on for the rest of the season. But, some of the surprise, obviously, Nottingham Forest this season started off as well. We'll talk about them for a couple of moments. They started off quite bad. And they've recently, what is it? They've recently got a new manager, haven't they? If I'm not mistaken, I could be just chatting a load of rubbish. I think they've got a new manager anyway.
Yeah,
But
they sacked
they,
and
yeah, but they looked pretty decent, if I'm not mistaken, in one of their previous games. They sort of kind of gel a bit more together. They've obviously got a few injuries, like Chris Wood was a massive player for them last season. I'm not sure what his injury is for Chris Wood, but it was pivotal for them last season for actually finishing where they are.
I
But
feel like Iger Jesus is a better striker than all round.
yeah,
Like he's good in the air like Wood, and he's got more skills. So
mm.
I think he's a good replacement for him.
Wood kind of reminded me of that sort of a less polished Kane, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because they're kind of very heavy on the ball. They're both good at shooting, good in the air.
I
Obviously,
see what you mean, though.
Kane's passing's a lot better, but they are very similar. And I feel like if Woods kind of polishes his skill set a little bit, together, I think they could. With him in their squad again this season, hopefully he returns soon. But uh, I do think he could help them sort of climb up the table a bit more because that's what they're lacking at the moment.
I think
For
United need Chris Wood.
yeah.
They
For sure, they
No, I
do.
think United have enough attacking players. In my opinion, I think they just need to do better. If they play to their potential as well as they can, it's just about team chemistry and balance, keeping everyone fit. And yeah, I mean, Sandro Martinez is back. We've got the Butcher back in defence. So the fact that we've got him and Luke Shaw has actually managed to stay fit for a bit, which is quite nice for
Yeah.
once. I think United, all things considered, should be doing a bit better than where they are currently in the table. There's no reason why they shouldn't stay somewhat consistent going forward. But hey, this is Man United we're talking about. Are you going to talk about the Champions League before we move
Yeah, we
forward?
can talk about the Champions League. The Champions League has been, again, you said Arsenal. We talked about them dominating just a couple of minutes ago. They've been even carrying their form over to the Champions League. We saw a little bit of a hint of it last season in the last Champions League. Um, and uh, they've now, thankfully for Arsenal fans, kind of carried that good form over into this season, and they are looking like they are on par with being one of the best teams in Europe. I still think Bayern Munich on their day, I'd probably say that was a bad game that they played the other day in the Champions League for their standards, but I do think that they're on kind of par with sort of Bayern Munich, PSG have a few injuries as well this season. As of recently, Hakimi was injured. He looks like he's going to be out for a few
Barcelona.
weeks. Yeah. But there's three teams I can see, three probably be four teams. Real Madrid are always going to be in there because it's just Real Madrid, isn't it? And they are, very likely to get far in the competition as well. But yeah, I don't know. How would you sort of, round up the Champions League so far as well? We'll start with Javen this time, maybe.
Champions League has obviously been very hit or miss for Liverpool as well. Currently, they haven't got too much to worry about where they are, but things do need to improve for them quickly.
Mm,
Barcelona has been a shock, I think, because they look stacked and like everything should be going their way. But I mean, they just lost 3-0 to Chelsea the other day, and they were shocking. They were basically, it almost looked like they were throwing in the towel, like inviting Chelsea to come in and score. And, Chelsea have been very inconsistent at times this season. So would have thought Barcelona, even though it was an away match for Barcelona, they could have been viewed as favourites for that match. So to lose 3-0 is unbelievable, really. Spurs,
especially with their
Spurs are
history.
just yeah, Spurs are just Spurs. No huge shocks or surprises there. Newcastle have been doing okay. all things considered. Chelsea always seem to do all right in Europe, no matter what. Even if they're inconsistent, they just always seem to have a bit of a good run. You got your classic teams like Inter, Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid. Obviously, they're all doing well. But yeah, once again, as you said, Arsenal just look really good. Yeah, and I'm sure Jed's very proud of his old club.
Yeah, I love Arsenal. Love the Gunners. No, I think I'm going to focus more on the smaller teams that haven't been mentioned that could be like shocks for the tournament. Because as we know, with the new format, anyone can get in
Yeah.
to the knockout rounds. I like Sporting Lisbon the way they're playing with Quenda and Trincao. They're looking dangerous. Uh, who else? Well, as you said before, Chelsea, even though they are kind of favourites, the way they battered Barcelona, that means they're strong contenders to go a long way.
Mm.
Um, if Newcastle, I don't see them going too far. The Geordies, they do have a massive, as Javen said, they're doing pretty well at the moment in the Champions League. The Voltemada as a striker, he's been doing really well in the Prem and the Champions League. And Barnes, I think I don't know if you mentioned, Jay, they got a shock win, didn't they? Um, when they won 3-0.
Mm.
But yeah, so as I said, any smaller teams could get through, and I want a few smaller teams to do really well and even get to maybe the quarters or semis
Yeah.
to upset the big giants. But as we'll move on swiftly from the Champions League because my fantasy Champions League is not doing too well as we all know. Especially,
You
I'm
said it,
an
not
yeah, but yeah, we'll carry on.
Yeah, it's been a good Champions League so far, really. It's been very entertaining. Obviously, Liverpool have had disasters in the season, Premier League talking, and of course, the Champions League as well. They've not been secure. They've looked very shaky. Canate's been a disaster, but then so has Van Dijk this season is he's been quite vulnerable at the back. Usually, I can imagine as a Liverpool fan, when you see Van Dijk in your starting 11, you're like, oh, they've got Van Dijk, it'd be all right because he's such a powerhouse of a player. But their whole back line really has just been very, very weak this season, and which is quite rare for them. Because usually if you look around the board for for Liverpool, they've got good players in all positions, really. But they just, for some or for whatever reason, could it be, the news of Jota when that all happened, or could it just be that they're just not gelling, or a mixture of things? We'll have to just sort of see what happens
it is a
a little
mixture of
bit
things.
later.
If I could just add something to that thought,
Mm,
Van Dijk and Mo Salah, players like them, if you go back to like 2019, that sort of time, or the years surrounding that, they were the best of the best. Okay, they were up there,
yeah,
they were world class, and there was on their day, it was hard to find anyone better. For
yeah,
Van Dijk to be nominated for a Ballon d'Or as a defender just shows he must have done something right. He wasn't dribbled past at all, was he, for a season?
yeah,
But he's not the same guy anymore. He just isn't.
no,
And players change, and they get older, and it's a short career that they have in the grand scheme of things. And it's just a fact that the passage of time, Van Dijk and Salah just they're past their peaks. They will never be as good as they were.
yeah.
Now, the real question for Liverpool is: are they good enough going forward for them to hang on to for longer? But that's a tough emotional decision for them and their fans, because those players have done a lot for them. But again, if something doesn't improve soon, they might have to be ruthless.
Yeah, I mean, even Arnold Slot's job is up for question at the moment, isn't it? I mean, it was like a knight in shining armor last season, winning the Premier League in his first season, which only a handful of obviously managers have been able to do, coming straight into the Premier League. Um, and this season, it's just done a complete 360. And if they do continue the way they're on and the path they're on, I mean, who knows? He could very well be sacked by the end of this year if he continues the way he's going, which would be a massive surprise for Liverpool sacking a manager obviously halfway through the season.
Yeah,
But
but it's fair though because the
yeah,
amount of grief that United have received, about Amorim, saying, "Oh, how when's he going to be sacked?" It's like Amorim's won more games than Slot this year. He's got a better win record than Arne Slot.
I know.
The reigning champions. So, like, if Liverpool are chasing United's tail in the table at the moment,
Mm,
so you've got to ask serious questions of Slot. I think Liverpool are that massive a club. They should be way higher in the table than they are, given that they won the Premier League last season, without a doubt.
yeah, they should definitely be in the top three or four at least. But obviously they are far from that this season so far. They are all the way down in eighth, which doesn't, to any other club might not seem uh, too bad. But considering they're on a 0 goal difference at the moment, is quite concerning, which kind of shows, isn't it, that they are leaking those goals in from the back. So I mean, like you say, who knows what the sort of upcoming season's gonna, you know, bestow upon us? We have no idea. But at the moment, obviously Arsenal 5 points clear. Man City 5 as well behind them. Obviously Chelsea Arsenal has a big game. Literally, was it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken? So for Man City, a draw for Arsenal and Chelsea was an absolute blessing, especially for Chelsea being as a man down. It was a good
Yeah.
display. I mean, I actually thought at times I watched that game yesterday and I was like, it doesn't even look like Chelsea have a man down. Like it was weird. It was like they were just playing like they would have with any other team or against any other opposition. But it was a good game in all all things considered from both teams really. But Chelsea just kind of seemed that on top, and they finally found a way to compete against Arsenal's set pieces. Because Arsenal, I think, are leading at the moment with set pieces scored in the Premier League, so they're really dangerous. But if you look how they were set up in the box, Chelsea, they had, I think, most of their front three up the pitch, so that it kind of forced the Arsenal defenders to kind of have to drop back and leave less players in the box, which they're not used to. So it was a really, really good sort of display of sort of tactics there on Chelsea's side. But there we go.
Well, while we're talking about that, we got to mention 10 men, Everton against Man United. the big slap
I was
from
hoping we'd
Idris
avoided that
Gueye.
subject.
So
No, this is what I mean. Like that should have been a comfortable victory for United, based on form. But not no disrespect to Everton, just based on the form of the two sides in previous matches. There's no reason United should have lost at home against a 10-man Everton. Fair play to Everton; they really did deserve it. They played with a spirit and energy and desire that United simply did not have that day, and it's inexcusable, absolutely inexcusable, because the bare minimum you expect from United players is effort, and the amount that they're paid, and they just, you can't just choose to turn up for the big games and then not turn up for every other match as well. Every point counts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
rant
it's been
over.
like that. It's been like that for a good few seasons, hasn't it? So, just the mentality is changing slow. Like you said, Shaw being back. I think. I mean, he's never played this many games back to back in his life. He was pretty much paid to just sit at home previous to this season for like 7 to 10 seasons in a row. And I think you have missed him dearly, and he's been really good. He's been really, really good this season.
Don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's interesting how much more he's been playing since the lunch ladies got sacked. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not as fat anymore, is he?
he's laid off the
join us
pork
next
pies.
time on
I know.
conspiracies. Football
Right.
conspiracies.
What we can move on to then, if you guys are ready, unless you've got anything else to add, is the blind ranking from Javen.
Does our host have time for this? I just want to confirm.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we've always got time for a blind ranking, Javen.
Okay. Keeping it fairly basic, but it's a big one. Okay, we're going to do a top 10 footballers of all time, just like top 10 best footballers. Okay, but I'm
Massive.
taking these from random. Okay, from a list of 30. Okay, so they're all going to be like famous names, but you don't know what order I'm going to give you them. They're all good players, but you have to. And what I'm going to do is go turn by turn. So this is going to drive you both mad, particularly Josh, because he's not going to have any say over the decisions Jed makes.
Get
Oh,
in.
so what? It's a combined between
Yeah,
we make the
I
list between
combine.
us. Okay.
For the sake of speed, yeah,
Jed's gonna
we'll do
put
that.
if we get our
We've
nine
got
right
this.
out, he's gonna put him ninth or something.
Obviously, I'm not going to do that. You just want to know.
Okay,
I'm not
so
actually.
the first name I'm going to put out there, and I'm going to let you go first, Josh. So you can set the scene if you like, for like where names are going to go in this list. So you're thinking like best players of all time. Okay, I'm going to put this one in. Andres Iniesta.
Don't mess this up, Josh. Don't mess this up.
Now you don't know what names I'm going to bring up. In all fairness, so only so much judgment can be put here. But
Yeah.
a top quality player, or
Oh
nonetheless.
my goodness. So he's won a World Cup. He's won several European championships. He's
Two.
won, well, that's still several though, isn't it? Too. I mean, I think he won like 9 or 10 La Ligas. Blimey, man. He's one of the best midfielders of all time. But it depends who you're going to put this on the list. So I can't rank him too high or too low. So I'm going to put Iniesta. This is rough. Why have you done this to me, Javen? I'm going to put
Because I
Iniesta.
enjoy the torture.
I'm going to put him sixth. I have to. It's not
Oh,
too high. It's not too. He's
that's
one of the
so high.
best. He's one of the best centre mids of all
He
time.
is class, but
But there, I can think of at least five more accomplished, better players than him. Obviously, depending on the list.
only five. Okay.
Well, yeah, at least, obviously, but
No,
for
he's a really good
for his
player.
position, he was probably the best. We have to
For the
agree.
information, I'd have put him slightly lower at 8, but
Yeah,
ah, it depends, isn't it?
what did I put him? Sixth, did I?
6, yeah. That's all
Yeah,
right.
I was toying
It's
between
a small
sixth and
one.
seventh because it was a bit of a tough one. But go
Yeah,
on,
that's
your
fine.
turn,
That's
Jed.
fine. I'm happy with that. We'll
Okay, Jed, where in the list would you put Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
Oh, Zlatan. 6, 7, 6, 7. Um,
Six is already taken, so
Zlatan is massive. Personality wise, he's obviously a much bigger player in his own eyes than Iniesta. Um, Played for many, many teams, won many, many titles, and absolutely outrageous. I'd say Iniesta is better at passing and maybe not dribbling. He's in his heyday. Did you see his goal for Ajax in the Champions League where he dribbled past like the whole team? No, Iniesta's really good.
he
Blows
was
my mind.
class in his youth, but he's also obviously played in so many different leagues and
Is
countries,
Josh allowed to speak, or
and
does
he's
he
been
just have to stay
successful
quiet?
pretty much. He's been successful pretty much everywhere he's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, this is tough.
Uh,
So Josh has to stay silent. There's no input from him whatsoever.
I've
Right.
actually
Okay.
I've actually muted my secondary microphone.
Okay.
I
So,
mean, there's no rules against you asking for an opinion if you want Josh's opinion.
I mean, I don't know. I'd either put him just slightly above Iniesta, or I personally I prefer him to Iniesta as a player, just because of how outrageous he was and the amount of goals he scored. I did.
He scored
I
one
did
of the
think,
best goals ever against England, in all fairness.
yeah,
But
he scored one of the best goals ever, like every season. I think I'm going to have to put him above Iniesta, just because simply if he was in a better team internationally, he could have won Euros and World Cups just as a team. And
Controversial, but
Zlatan
yeah.
played for Barcelona. Iniesta only really played for Barcelona. Zlatan played for so many big teams. I think I'm going to put Zlatan.
That's true. There's a difference between
Fourth.
playing in an absolutely stacked Spain squad as opposed to playing for Sweden, isn't there? So
Yeah, he was absolutely one of the best strikers of the 20th, 21st century, without a doubt. I can't really think of many more. Actually,
it's
there is. Maybe I'm going to put him. I'll put him seventh just because Josh would never forgive me. But I feel like he's better than Iniesta. But
Make a decision.
I'll put him seventh.
Final answer 7. I would have agreed with you there, to be honest with you, just because
I wanted to put him fourth though.
he did
Top four.
accolades wise. Iniesta, in my opinion, was the best centre mid of his generation. He was insane. Like, he was unbelievable. What that man won was second to none. So I think that putting Zlatan below him is nothing bad anyway, but I do think that's the correct decision to be made, to be honest with you, because I think position wise,
Smashing.
Iniesta was the best for his position, but Ibrahimovic is not the best striker for his position. I could think of countless more. So
mm.
that's I actually quite agree with that decision for once.
There you go.
I'm not saying these are definitely the best 10 players in history, by the way. These are
No,
from a
no,
list
no.
of
It's the top
these are from a
30.
list of 30 names. So yeah.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, back to you, Josh. Diego Maradona.
Well, let's be honest. He's like we already know that this man is top 3 of all time. Top 3 or 4 at least. I mean, he did win a World Cup, but it was controversial to say the least.
Messi would put him at number 1, but then he'd have
Well,
to.
yeah.
He's
Well, every
Argentinian, so he would have
Argentinian
to.
would put him at number 1. I would put Maradona, but it depends. Maradona could be the best player you put on this list. So if it is, obviously he'd go at number 1. But if it's not, then he would have to go third for me, at least. I'm going to have to go with thirds. I will. That's my locked in position. Third.
I think that's reasonable.
It's tough to gauge, isn't it, with the ones coming through? Because he could be first, he could be fourth. If the 3 names I think come up, even 4, maybe 5 that could be above him. If it just depends if Jaden says them or not.
It's a shame he's been slightly outshone by the next name, which is Scott McTominay. No, joking. Maybe if he carries on the way, maybe if he carries on the way he is, he might be on this list one day. But
you can put him in if you want, Jeff.
No, for you, Jed, I'm going to go with another big name, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh my word!
You have 1, 2, 4, 5,
Well,
and then 8
I
into
know
the
what I
bin.
have. I know what I have. The thing is, in my opinion, he's the second best player ever. So
Is that based on pure numbers or what you've seen? Like,
yeah, numbers. Um, Taking out the fact that they kicked a pig's bugger about and a much harder ball and worse pitches in the past, but yeah, I'll put him second just in case, because there's 1 or 2 that could be or 3 that could be above him, but
the whole of Argentina hates you right now. You're saying Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Maradona.
that's true.
I mean,
It depends if you're saying or not.
I would agree with Ronaldo's better than in terms of
He's actually
all
better stats
I'm
than
round.
not saying
Maradona.
you're wrong. I'm just saying this is going to cause this is controversial to anyone.
Well,
This is gonna
Argentina is very far away from
this is
where he
gonna
is, so it's
cause
very
our this is gonna cause our one viewer from Argentina depression.
no.
All right, who have I got?
Very interesting. Okay, for you, Josh. I'm just thinking who to give next. Because I want to. Oh, okay. Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine. I know where I put him.
He was just before our time, really, but he was a class player.
It's gonna have to be fourth for me. It has to be fourth. Maradona, not Maradona. Zinedine Zidane was, as of the last, Maradona's better in my opinion in terms of player. Like
Oh yeah.
but the things that Zinedine Zidane has won is just like insane. Like he's a he's up. There's a reason. I know we're going to bring in FIFA for a second, but there's a reason why the man is like 94 or 3 rated on FIFA. I don't know. This is FIFA talking. I never watched him in his prime, Zinedine,
I did.
but everything that I have seen and stuff like that, he was. You take him out the team, and it's not the same team anymore. And if it's like that with any player, if you take them out of the team, and the team isn't, you know, the same without that player, then he has
Which
to be
team?
one of the best players.
Juventus,
Which
Real
team?
Madrid, France.
Well, France
All of
predominantly. I mean, when he headbutted, what's his
uh,
name, and then they ended up
Bruce Materazzi.
losing his cool. That cost them the game pretty much. So, without that incident, they probably would have won, that tournament as a whole. So it's a tough one, but I would have to say that Zinedine Zidane is just behind Maradona for me, for sure.
Yeah, I'd have put him in
Okay.
fifth because we've only got number one now. Number
You'd
one
have,
all the
you'd
way
have put,
down.
you'd have put him where?
Five.
Sorry, Jed.
I'd have put him number five because I feel like James is going to do two better players. But I mean,
Well,
he has to put him up there. Yeah.
I've got your next one here, Jed. Xavi.
Oh, Javi. Now see,
Oh,
I would have put him six and had Iniesta eighth. Um, I did rate Xavi over, but I'm just going to have to reverse that and put Xavi eighth because he was such a class little player, and he was
mhm.
part of that midfield three. Um, he wasn't. Iniesta won more with Spain, of course, but Xavi. I can't remember whose career lasted longer, but I feel like Xavi's
Iniesta's
longevity was
Iniesta
Iniesta.
was still playing until like last year in the
Yeah, but
Champions
Xavi
League.
started before Iniesta. He was in like the
Yeah,
late
yeah, yeah.
90s. But
Didn't Xavi stay
yeah,
at Barcelona longer than Iniesta did as well?
yeah,
I
Iniesta left to
think
go to Japan, didn't he? But yeah, I feel like you can't put him much lower than eight. I,
Okay.
maybe I could. No, I don't know. It's really hard to.
they're both pretty much the same. I mean, they pretty much won almost the same
Yeah, but
amount
I'm
of
happy
things,
putting
didn't they?
Zlatan above Xavi. But it's a good thing I've left number five open.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I
Well,
we'll put mate. Yeah,
it's not too shocking a list, but it is getting crowded.
yeah.
So with that in mind, the next name I'm going to give might make things a little easier. I don't know. Just stop talking. Paolo Maldini, Josh.
The best defender in the world. How could you compare?
One of the most
There's-
legendary defenders ever, but still a defender. So how high do you put him?
Number one.
So what positions have we got left?
One,
You have
five,
got
10.
1, 5, 9, and 10.
Oh,
Now remember, 9 and 10 doesn't mean bad. It just means not as good as the others.
but Maldini, like every single player in history says that Maldini is the best defender to literally ever live. How many? He won like 5 Champions Leagues, didn't he, or something ridiculous?
During AC Milan's golden era. Yeah, something crazy like
Um,
that.
Goodness me. I'm gonna have to go with fifth because he was a joke of a player. Like you've got to, you can't put him ninth. He's miles better than Zlatan Ibrahimovic in terms of things that he's won. Especially Zlatan's won a couple of trophies here and there, but he's never won anything significant. He's never won a Champions League.
Fact check that.
He's never won a Champions League. Zlatan's never won a Champions League.
That's not.
No,
Oh,
he's
well.
never won one. Maldini is, if you ask any professional footballer who the best defender of all time is,
Yeah.
he is there in number one.
But he's the
every
fifth
time.
best player in the world ever.
What's that?
Yeah, no,
He,
he's a really good defender.
I mean, he was in the Ballon d'Or like several times, like as in runner-up and stuff like that. Only to the best players ever, like R9 and stuff like that. Like he had to be up there. So I have to put him fifth. I can't put him lower
Fair
than
enough.
Iniesta and what's it called? Because if we're to ask them, they'd probably agree that he was the best centre back of all time. I think I have to put him fifth because he's the best centre back. There's no if Javan names another centre back, number
Jim
10.
can say whatever he wants now. He's gonna stitch us, Josh.
But it's like
We've only got number 1 and 9 and 10 left.
AC Milan's number
Oh, okay, yeah.
one dream team
Go on.
has Maldini in it every day of the week.
Yeah, it's a whole team that we're making a top 10 lot of teams. But
Yeah,
yeah, he's great class. But probably the best defender ever. So
it has to
he's
be. He won
worthy of a fifth.
like 7 or 8 Serie A's.
And he's
That
better than
was
Xavi in it.
the
Yeah.
Serie. By the way, the Serie A that when he was playing in it was the best league in the world. Like pretty much when he was like there, because it was just insane. The amount of players they had there was just a joke.
Yep. Okay, go on, hit me with the next one, Jay.
Okay. The next one. I have a feeling you're both saving the same one for number one. Assuming that I said it.
Nicholas Bentner.
Yeah, the Lord.
Because of the numbers that are left, I'm gonna just because I'm curious who you're gonna put in 9 and 10. He is on this list. David Beckham.
Should have put him seventh. Number 7.
Now, I think honestly, I think people don't respect how good a baller David Beckham was. I don't think anybody
baller, yeah.
was a better passer of the ball or crosser of the ball than Beckham. He perfected the art. He really did.
Yeah, when he went to Real Madrid,
scored the
his
goals
pass.
and everything.
Do you remember I don't know if you remember the one goal where it's from a corner and
Yeah.
pinged the corner pass over to Roberto Carlos, and Carlos just absolutely leathers it into the top corner from the outside the box. I was like, "What on earth?" It's like a goal on FIFA. It's like that. It looked that unrealistic that it was just unbelievable. Like it was just an incredible goal.
Well, I can't put him at number 1, even though I rate him so highly.
You can if you want, but Josh might end the podcast.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to put him at number 10 because
10?
he's a class player. But
Yeah.
I feel like Javen's going to say there's only like class players left. So I'll put him at 10. He's an absolute baller. And he's better than Xavi, Iniesta, and Zlatan. But those places have already been taken.
I
And
mean,
there
that's
is.
debatable if he was better. I mean,
I feel like Javen's going to give us like 2 better players.
Yeah,
so it's up to Josh who wants to put it first and 9.
yeah, but Xavi and Iniesta at the time were the best centre mid duo.
It just means that when he says Messi and R9, we don't have to put either of them at 10. So you're welcome, Josh. Yeah, lock him in
All
because
right,
he was
let's
number 10. Don't forget, he was number 10 for Manchester United as well.
Let's upset some people. Josh Pele.
Ah!
You going to put number 1 or number 9? What are you going to do?
Josh. Let's be honest. Like, it is a tough one.
Josh is screwed. I don't have a choice in the last one, so it is literally.
I know, obviously, he won 3 World Cups or whatever it was.
He knocked Wales out of the World Cup in the 50s as well. He knocked Wales out of the World Cup. What an achievement.
I mean, who hasn't? I'm joking. Oh, dear. Anyway. He played, obviously, he was a fantastic player. There obviously is the argument that was the skill level as good as it was back then as it is today. The answer to that is probably no. But
it was also a rougher sport.
It was definitely rougher. The pitches were worse. That they weren't as good as athletes we have today, but they were in some ways like the best of the best in that sense because they could play any condition, no matter what it was, whatever the pitch was like. But you, the thing is,
You got over 1,000 goals,
yeah,
Yeah,
unconfirmed.
but
but
that figure
most of
has
them
come
were
under
scored in his
scrutiny as well.
garden.
Yeah, it's hard to verify that because of how rubbish, scoring records were then.
Yeah,
But
it,
it doesn't deny the fact that, he was outstanding compared to everyone else.
he has to be. Well, you can't stick him ninth, which is a bit of a shame,
I won't.
You're
I
putting,
won't judge you, Josh. If you did.
huh?
you're putting him ninth.
Well, no, I'm not putting him ninth. I said I can't put him ninth.
Oh,
We're 3 World Cups, man. There's hasn't been many people who's won as many as that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why he's regarded as one of the best. Isn't
I don't think anyone's won 3 World Cups. I think that's still Pele's
I
record, isn't
think
it?
it is. Yeah, I mean, Mbappe won. Mbappe broke the youngest player to score in a final. I think it was since Pele. Um, I'm gonna have to put him number one because I can't put him worse than Zlatan Ibrahimovic, can I? So I have to put him first. But I'm not.
Wow.
It's not even that I have to. It's like
He's
you
better than
can't.
Cristiano
You
Ronaldo and
almost can't.
Maradona.
You can't deny it. Yeah, but if I was going to make a list of those footballers anyway, if Javen were to give me all the top 10 lists, I'd probably put something
Yeah.
similar like that we've done anyway, unless he molests us with our last one.
Well, I hope you forgive me, Jeds, then, because there's only ninth available. I'm actually going to take it upon myself to pick someone because I can't just say Messi and put him ninth. Okay, so Messi's not good enough to be on this list.
Oh no, that's outrageous.
I'm
I think he's on
thinking
10.
who's better than Beckham but not as good as the others? Could we say George Best,
I don't know if he was better.
or is
Uh,
Be-
He
or
was.
is Best better than Xavi and Iniesta? Would we say?
He
what
was a brilliant
about
dribbler.
what about Harlow?
It's not,
Pirlo's not on this list.
What?
wow, he's not even on the top 30.
No, we've got Platini, Buffon. We
Rude
could put
Hullet?
actually we could have Buffon in there as the goalkeeper
Oh,
representative,
Buffon is the best goalkeeper of all time. That is without a shadow of a doubt true.
as we
Not
don't have a
Cassidy.
goal as we don't have a goalkeeper on the list. Should we put him there?
I would. Oh, I'm happy for that.
It's up to you, James. You're the one that's saying the player, not me anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I'll put my name then. Okay, so our totally unofficial list of the top 10 best players of all time, ignoring the existence of Lionel Messi completely, are
And a few others.
and
And
R9
one of
Ronaldo
those.
and yeah, other people. We've got number one, Pele. Number two, Cristiano Ronaldo. Number three, Diego Maradona. Number four, Zinedine Zidane. Number five, Maldini. Number six, Iniesta. Number seven, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Number eight, Xavi. Number nine, Buffon in goal. And number 10, David Beckham. To be fair, not a bad squad.
I'd actually
Good
back
squad.
that list as factual anyway, as in that's where I'd have probably put most of them.
Yeah. You notice how
It's
Josh took a lot of the higher ones. I went lower.
I was thinking Josh might put Pele in ninth. For some reason I felt like Josh was going to say, you know what, I think Pele was a fraud, and he could go
No,
down in ninth. I don't think he
he's
actually
probably
did
got
the
a
numbers
FIFA
they
rank.
say he did. And then I was going to give, Messi the first spot. But to be fair, Pele was given the respect he's due. So
Yeah,
I thought you were
yeah.
just going to say to me like Messi or R9 and then I have to put him ninth. But like, no. But no. So
it's a respectable list if you ignore everyone that I left out of it.
yeah. No, with the players we got, I'll say we did well there. There was less bickering. If Jack was here, he would have he would have protested.
Jack could be crashing out right now over that list.
He
I
would.
know. It's true. Right then. That was today's episode, rounded up with a nice last game of a blind ranking there from Javen. Very, very nice. At least you didn't do us too dirty. But there we go. Awesome. All right, then, guys, we will finish off our episode for today. Hopefully, you all enjoyed our episode as well, and we will get back to you perhaps in the new year at some point to discuss maybe January transfers and see what happens in the next transfer window and potentially the 115 charges that is supposed to be coming in this month, but who knows? We'll have to just wait and find out. So there we go. All right, then, guys, go and enjoy, of course, the rest of your day, and we will speak to you all very, very soon. Ciao, ciao.
See ya.